Worldwide Wi-Fi networks at risk of Krack attacks. If you're sitting in a coffee shop watching this on your phone, you might want to think twice. Wi-Fi networks worldwide could contain a security flaw that lets hackers disrupt internet traffic. Experts call it a Krack attack and say it's a fundamental flaw in wireless security techniques, with Apple, Android, and Windows software all vulnerable to some extent. A hacker in range of a Wi-Fi network would be able to load viruses onto the network, read and gather communications like passwords, credit card numbers, and photos sent. Researchers suggest only connecting to secured Wi-Fi networks and avoiding unsecured networks like those in hotels, coffee shops, and public spaces. Most banking and online shopping websites use HTTPS, an encryption technique that protects against Krack attacks. Security analysts also suggest updating your router, although updates for Krack attacks may not be available yet. You've been hacked.
How today's cars are vulnerable to hacking. As our world becomes ever more reliant on smart devices, today's drivers face a new danger on the road. With modern cars becoming increasingly computerized, hackers are able to exploit security holes to remotely take control of vehicles. It is possible for a skilled hacker to get into a driver's mobile app, a car's entertainment center, onboard diagnostics, airbags, locks, as well as critical systems like the engine and brakes. Hackers can use a car's cellular, Wi-Fi or Bluetooth connection to gain access. The software can then be read and altered code inserted back into the car's computers. Many modern cars contain more than 100 computer processors, leaving them susceptible to hacking and privacy attacks not possible with older vehicles. Last year, in London alone, software flaws helped hackers steal more than 6,000 cars.
How hackers jack ATMs remotely. Japanese cybersecurity firm Trend Micro has published a white paper detailing how hackers can remotely control ATMs. First, cybercriminals target banking staff with phishing emails. If a worker accesses the email, this allows the hacker to steal their identity. The hacker then uses these stolen digital credentials to enter the banking network, where they begin to comb it for data on their target. This is known as lateral movement. The hack is commonly seen in places where banks' main networks and ATM networks are not separated. Once said data is acquired, the hacker gains access to ATMs. They then order machines to dispense so-called jackpot amounts of cash to standby mules waiting to collect. Hackers using this technique have kept away from ATMs in the US and Canada, but Trend Micro expects the threat to become stronger in the future.
Hackers could gain access to Android phones by sending coded text messages. A security firm has found that hackers could gain access to the majority of Android phones in the world via specially crafted text messages. Security firm Zimperium told NPR that a weakness in an Android-based software may allow malware to affect 95% of Android phones. According to Zimperium, hackers can take advantage of flaws in Android software Stagefright, a multimedia processing tool. Malware can be incorporated into a video file and sent to an individual's Android phone. If the message is received via Google Hangouts, Stagefright will immediately process the video and release the malware whether the file was actually opened or not. The malware can take complete control over the phone and allow hackers to gain access to all of the information stored inside. Google has developed patches that can protect Android users and has reportedly sent them out, but it's ultimately up to phone carriers and phone makers to push the updates through to individual phones. Android patches can take months to reach individual devices. Old devices often stop receiving updates altogether and are therefore left vulnerable to hacks and new issues that crop up.
It's time to change your Yahoo password. Internet giant Yahoo is today coming to terms with a cyber calamity after admitting it is the victim of the biggest data breach in history. In 2014, hackers gained access to 500 million Yahoo accounts, but for some reason we're only hearing about this now. The hackers swiped account names, email addresses, phone numbers, birth dates, passwords, and even security questions and answers. Yahoo blamed an unknown foreign government for the hack, so fingers immediately pointed to the usual suspects of China, Russia, and North Korea. The biggest fear is that hackers will use the stolen data to access accounts on other websites. So if you haven't done so already, go and change your Yahoo password. Cybersecurity experts are also recommending not using the same password across different sites, because hacking. We shouldn't need to tell you this, but 123456, the word password, and let me in are just too obvious, and up to 500 million Yahoo users are now at risk of finding that out the hard way.